Hey there, survivors. How's it going? I'm your host, Douglas here at Drownboy Productions, bringing you another Screaming Ghostface Collector's video. And before you go clicking away, you do not have deja vu. This is not a repeat video. This is not a re-upload. This is another video on a 1996 Ghostface robe. I know we just got done taking a look at the Little Shop of Horrors Sparkle robe, and if you guys have not seen that review, you can go check that one out as well. But today we're going to be taking a look at a robe from another well-respected and well-known Ghostface robe maker, Scream Robes. If you're watching this and you don't already know who Scream Robes is, chances are you're pretty new to the hobby, so let me go ahead and introduce you. Scream Robes is a high-end Ghostface robe replica manufacturer. They offer every single version of the different Ghostface robes from the different Scream films, and they make really nice, high-end, high-quality replicas. There are many Screaming Ghostface cosplayers, and there are many different robe makers out there to offer these replica robes. But at this point, I think it's fair to say that for most people, Scream Robes is their go-to for high-end, high-quality, movie-accurate Ghostface robes. And this is not my first time personally to work with Scream Robes. I have received one of their Scream 2 killer robes in the past, and it was very nice, very high quality. I have worn it to many cons, I've had it on display at the museum. It's probably my favorite replica robe out of all the ones that I own, at least at this point. You all have not seen everything yet, and actually there will be another Scream Robes video coming very soon, and it's going to be even cooler than this one. As I previously mentioned, I have received one of their Scream 2 replica robes, and I absolutely love it. And today, I have actually received two different replica robes, but the one that we're going to be taking a look at is another 1996 Ghostface killer robe. So I guess let's just go ahead and take a look at this thing. First of all, I guess we'll talk about the material. The material that Scream Robes uses does have a slight texture to it. It's not really like shiny and glossy. So it does have a little bit of texture that could possibly matter if you're mishandling your prop weapons. You could rub paint off of things, but overall it just is a different feel, and this is actually a little bit closer to the Scream used robes than a lot of the other fabrics that I've seen out there as far as the sparkle pattern as well as the actual fabric feel. However, this fabric is much thicker, much sturdier, and in my opinion, much better for a replica robe than what you would see on one of the actual Scream used robes. This is something that can withstand plenty of hours of cosplaying, haunting, photographing, whatever you decide to do with this thing. I think it'll hold up and it'll stand the test of time. Whereas the actual fabric for the actual robes was pretty thin and would likely be ripped pretty easily. Next up, I guess, let's take a look at the sleeve here. The hands themselves are very well sewn, no weird shapes on the hands. It looks like a proper glove. And I have tried this one on already. It does fit well. However, with this robe, he did not include any wrist slits. Whenever I received my Scream 2 robe, it did have that function, which is absolutely fantastic to have for quality of life reasons when you're wearing this. And on top of that, those are actually present on the actual Scream used robes. So this one does not have it. I do believe that when you order these, you have the option to opt in or out of it. So that is not something that is set in stone when you get these. But this one does not have that. Next up would be the drapery on the sleeve itself. You can see what the shape of that looks like. It kind of comes down into that very odd, almost like trapezoid end that these have. Next up, let's talk about the hood. Here is a good side profile shot so you can see how baggy it's supposed to be. It's nice and rounded. You can see the thickness of the foam, how wide it is here, how far it goes down. Overall, it looks like it will hold a good shape, and if you do flip it up, you will see he does have the Velcro present on the inside of the hood, as well as the opposite piece of Velcro that you can add to the top of your mask if you do choose to modify it so you can wear it properly with the costume. You don't necessarily have to do that, but if you do decide to really commit to a fully wearable costume and you're going to be running around in this thing acting crazy, I would definitely recommend doing the Velcro on your mask and the hood. As for the drawstring around the neck, the actual part the drawstring goes into is sewn together really well. There is plenty of length, not too much, but plenty of length to tie it together there in the front, which is nice. Of course, for the Scream 1 style, you do not have the Velcro running down the center of the robe. And before any of you go crazy in the comments, I know about the one where Sydney jumps out of the closet and stabs Billy, but that's not really like a killer robe. It's more of a reveal in that particular scene thing. I guess if you wanted to, you could likely request for him to make one of those style robes, but at least that's not his standard style that he's offering. And while we're talking about different styles of Scream 1 robes, I guess it is very important to note that there are quite a few differences between the different robes in Scream 1. There's obviously the style that Sidney wore coming out of the closet, as we just discussed. There's the standard style with the nice, large, wide hood with the material in the hood to make it hold that shape. And there's another style of robe that is called the K&B robe that I don't think was actually made by K&B. It pretty much just got that nickname because typically it was being seen worn alongside the K&B style masks. And those hoods in particular didn't have material in them to really make them hold a really wide shape. The fabric in the hood looked a lot looser and it would just kind of drape over the sides of the head, and it kind of looked like it hugged the head a bit tighter instead of being so widely flared out. Alright, next up, I guess we just really have to discuss the bottom of the robe here, where he's done the trim work. Now, on the 1996 style by Scream robes, it looks like a lot of these kind of triangular cut pieces are pretty symmetrical. On the actual screen-used robes, they are a bit more asymmetrical and really jaggedly cut. We've actually got some really nice reference photos of that now that we've seen the Sidney attack mask alongside its robe that just recently sold at auction. We have some really great references of the Scream 1 robes, but really everything else on this robe looks absolutely fantastic. That one little detail along the bottom, I wouldn't say is like 100% accurate to every version, of course. I do prefer the more jagged asymmetrical cut, but overall, these robes are extremely high quality. They look great, they feel great, and it would seem that they hold up to the test of time because I haven't really seen any cosplayers or anybody really posting online saying that their robes have gotten damaged, ripped, unraveled, anything like that. I will be sure to get some worn shots of the robe to show you all how great this thing really looks, but I'm sure many of you out there already know by seeing hundreds if not thousands of awesome customer photos of people wearing these Scream 1 robes by Scream robes, you already know that these are high quality, really nice robes. But still, I'll be sure to get some cool cinematic worn shots as well as maybe some pictures of it on the mannequin over here. And yeah, if you guys are interested in picking up one of these yourself, you can acquire it directly from Scream Robes over on Instagram and I do believe Facebook. But I'm pretty confident that Instagram is the easier way to get a hold of him to do business. As far as price on these, I do think that they can change from time to time just depending on material costs. So I would just talk to him directly about that. And the only thing I can say that you might possibly have to worry about is wait time, because these robes are very, very popular. He is constantly making them for people. So if you're trying to get it in time for Halloween, I would go ahead and get your orders in now if it's not already too late. And with that being said, guys, I now have a complete set of 1996 Ghostface robes to put on display in the museum to represent both Billy and Stu. And I want to give proper thanks for that to Scream Robes for sending me this awesome Ghostface robe, and also to Little Shop of Horrors for also sending me a beautiful 1996 Ghostface robe. And with that being said, I guess that pretty much wraps it up for today's video. So yet again, if you guys are interested in picking up one of these robes yourself, go contact Scream Robes, and let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of the robe and what you thought of the video. I love you all, thank you for watching, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.